And welcome back to Half Hour Henshin for the second time today because I forgot to click the record the first time we started talking this week.
Yes.
But I am Sleepy Witch, joined by
DJ Azure, the 2.5D Hero Talkatuber.
And we're here to talk about our weirdly Butler-themed episodes today.
Yeah, Butler, comedy, and what was the other one?
Was
different worlds, not knowing the rules of the other world, essentially. Or, sorry, not knowing the rules of the human world, I should probably say.
Specifically when it comes to, paying for things.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Gozuger, we see our boy, weirdly enough, kind of thriving in a new job.
He hasn't gotten fired. In this episode, we do not see him get fired. Surprisingly, we don't know if it's going to happen or if this is just a one-time thing. But yeah, he's thriving in this Butler cafe. And as someone that goes to maid cafes, it is really funny that, they basically assign Hoeru, number one, his name being Lonesome Wolf, Butler Lonesome Wolf. And he basically has this mild delinquent, kind of personality that works really well for this manager.
I do love how they show it. He delivers the water and it kind of spills over and he's just kind of a pay. But you know what? Work to your strengths. I'm kind of happy for him. I will be sad if we never see him in this job again. But the first time around when we were recording, one of the things I mentioned is I wish this is just his regular job. That I hope that as we're getting his character development for the rest of this episode, that that also means that he gets to stick to this job because he, one, was doing well, two, we never saw him get fired, and I mean apparently he brought in that day's best sales. But leading into that, we were talking about him a lot. Fire Candle.
Oh my god, yeah. So I basically only watched the episodes so pretty much normally I watch the episodes on Sunday because I'm hey, superhero time. But my internet was out, so I basically had to watch it today, maybe about an hour ago before we recorded. So this knowledge is fresh in my mind. But yeah, Sleepy was basically just getting messages from me saying, "Oh my god, I love Fire Candle. Oh my god, I love Fire Candle. Oh my god, I love Fire Candle."
And to be fair, just because of my work schedule being kind of busy, I was able to watch Gav, but I didn't watch Gozuger till earlier today. And when I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, I want to send Azure a message about this, but I'm like, oh, but he said he hadn't watched them yet, so I'm not gonna say anything because it's easier to wait to see his reaction from it later.
Yeah, and man, okay, so I've always just been a big fan of Fire Candle ever since they showed up because he's likable in universe, and pretty much he's just his face work is so good. His entire character is just so much fun, and we get to see a lot of that because he's actually part of Horu's character development, and he also gets some character development in this too, which is great because they have a rivalry here because. Yeah.
Yep. We get this episode has basically an A and B plot, and the A plot is Hoeru and Fire Candle, and the B plot is everyone else.
Yeah. And Kuon, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, Kuon counted everyone else, technically.
Yeah.
But I do love, we didn't talk about this the first time around, seeing that the start of the Fire Candle thing was him talking to Kuon and Kuon being like, hey, you need to leave Gozuger Wolf alone. He's my younger brother, so it's my job to take him down. And then he's kind of plus, this is the only way, he's like, this is the only way to show our queen, my real loyalty. But then he's also like, plus, there's no point in you just continuing to lose fights.
Yeah.
And so he leaves him in a bad spot. But, we see our man, doing, a fantastic job as a delinquent butler when he gets his next customer.
And it's Fire Candle.
And again, his face work continues to be great. He really is, hamming it up. I love him. But, he eats his food. He gets angry because he's still thinking about, Kuon and Gozuger Wolf. And he hasn't realized who Hoeru is just because, he's wearing a mask for the butler outfit, and he also, honestly, I don't know how much he saw him that much outside of the suit,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It could just be a thing where he just doesn't recognize him. But it's also really funny if we get we have Bouquet and Rikuo versus Gozu Leon, who she hates one and likes the other, and then we're gonna get hey man, you weren't so bad, and then it's fucking hates Gozu.
Yeah, that would be funny if it is just like that. And I'm also wondering if Ryugi and Kinjiro and Sumino will also get their own Bride-on counterparts as well too.
I wonder. I mean, from the writing characters we have, there's not really that many left, other than Sweet Cake and is it Sweet Cake and Knife? But there's always a chance to introduce more characters. It would also be really funny if like one of them actually got one of the little like candle guy, like little bell guys, and it's the one bell guy who gets to survive the season. Because those guys do not have a good living record yet.
And we didn't really get them in this episode, which is surprising.
Yeah, it just wasn't about them. But yeah, seeing him work at the Butler Cafe, we haven't actually talked about it for this recording, but Fire Candle not knowing what money is, leading into him having to work for the cafe.
Yeah, and the manager of the cafe is like saying, "Hey, you know what? You're kind of hot. You should work here. You should pay your tab by working here." And then it's like, and then Horu's like, "No, you can't work here." And it's like, "No, what? You think you're gonna lose your #1 spot in sales?" And then they basically have this great duel. And you were saying in the last recording that that Horu was basically like, not just like the delinquent stuff. He was actually doing like doing the sweet stuff, like sucking nectar out of a flower, like saying, "Oh, this is not as sweet as you," like basically fixing a girl's hem, and like basically, as you were saying, doing things that someone that would be considered poor would have to like learn how to do on themselves.
Yeah, like fixing your own clothes, or like all you can snack on is the nectar from flowers and stuff. But also, like I said, the thing that was surprising me, because so far, like, he's been trying his best at his job and it hasn't worked, but like I feel like the Butler job really worked, because it wasn't just about him showing his special skills. Like, he was legitimately being sweet to the customers, like, "Oh, like, it's not as sweet as you," like that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be a little too embarrassed to say unless I was working. And he just, he did it, and he was doing the job well. So again, I hope he didn't end up getting fired, especially because as we talked about last time, like, this manager is really making the most of it. She's like breaking sales records over this contest. She's so excited. The like little rows where she keeps like the charts is going off from the wall into the roof. It like doesn't fit in the chart anymore. And I love that she made like hand-drawn like versus cards for the beginning of it. Again, like, this show aesthetically with a bunch of its little quirks and stuff like this has just been real fun to watch.
Yeah, and oh man, and then right as Fire Candle's just about to win with his last customer, who's this nerd that probably would look like me at an idol event, like he basically runs off, and it's like saying, oh, and the manager's like saying, "Oh no, that won't count for you, and you will lose the lead if you don't catch him." So Fire Candle goes off to like go catch this nerd, and then on his way back, he sees Horu, and they basically have this nice sweet talk about what it means to be #1.
And about how, like, yeah, Horu's scared to get close to people, to lose other things, to be betrayed again. Because, as we've established, he had a family, and when he came back, his family had moved on, which again, the family probably thought their kids were dead, and so, you can't blame them for moving on. But also, if you actually came back and you saw your parents with other kids, like, living a happy life, that's gotta hurt. Like,
yeah,
it's gotta be rough. And then you get your brother back, but not only is your brother an asshole, not only is he a tech bro, he's also feeding into the same like sense of like low sense of self-worth that you have, being like, you're an incomplete person, all you can do is chase after me. It's rough being her.
Yeah, and then we basically see this happen, and it basically breaks Fire Candle out of his funk, because he was just like, he's like, "Hey, you know what? Even though I lose, I just really want to fight this guy. I want to know the shape of his soul."
Yeah, and I love that, because it was advice he was giving him, because he's like, well, right now you're less than a loser, because at least if you fight and you lose, you did something. But if you don't do anything, whatever.
Yeah,
he's like, you know what? Even if I lose, I do want to see this guy, and I do love that. Like, he's like, I want to see the shape of his soul through our fights or whatever. Which again, it was one of those memes where it's just like the fucking tweet I saw where it was just like, if you guys are rivals for more than 3 episodes, you're not rivals anymore. You're just gay.
Oh man, hi Momotaro and Sonoe.
Yeah, though, to be fair, those guys had a lot going on. I wonder. Here's the thing. I wonder if we're gonna have that by the end. You know, because it's still pretty early in Gojujo's run. We're not even at episode 10. There's a lot more time for him and Fire Candle to like talk, to maybe have the same kind of dynamic that Bouquet and Leon have, where it's like she hates Leon but she likes Rikuo the idol, and where it's like Fire Candle might like the human Hoeru, but he might fucking hate Gozu Wolf.
Yep, and just to joke around about this, we're on episode 10. Where's my Ryugi episode? Like,
we'll get there.
I'm skipping to the next episode thing. Where's my Ryugi episode?
Not here yet. Speaking about Ryugi, can we talk about? I don't think I've mentioned this. So every time we have the opening, there's the one scene where we see the suits dancing, and in the middle we see like a circle where we get to see all of them, like their expressions for like a little bit. And I always think it's really funny because we have Kinjiro, who just looks kind of like pleased, Hoeru, who looks really sad, Rikuo, who also looks kind of down. Like they all just look kind of like, and I feel like it's supposed to have like something to do with like with their arcs. Hoeru is sad about like being betrayed. God, I forget Unicorn's name, but she looks upset. It probably has something to do with her sister. Yeah. But then you see Ryugi, and he just looks so happy. He's just like smiling, like yay. And I'm like, what went on with him? I need to know. It always just makes me think like, no, what is that guy's deal? Also, speaking about the opening, every time we see the mom and the kid, I'm like, where are they?
Yeah.
They were in the opening. We haven't seen them in a bit. Not for real, but yeah. But then, we get all that Hoeru stuff, and then we get basically the B plot of this episode, which was the rest of the team. Which again,
getting their asses handed to them by Kuon.
Eventually. But it starts off with them being like kind of worried about him, and like, should we go look and get him? Like, should we get him some help? Like, does he need us? Should we talk to him? And Riku's like, I don't know, he's got the right to do whatever. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't seem like the guy who would ask for help, and so they're all kind of worried about him. And then we get the older brother reveal, the Kuon being like, hey, what do you guys even know about Hoeru? And then we get, honestly, probably one of my favorite little bits of background acting, because when he comes in and he's recognized as Kuon, the CEO of this big AI corporation, Sumino is like, oh my god, here's my card, in case you ever need any, work done, which again, love that for her. She is a girl boss. She is always working. But the moment he starts being really creepy about Hoeru and then being like, I don't classify you as good enough to be his friends, she like takes the card back just in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yep, no.
Yeah, you don't need to contact me at all.
Yeah. And again, he gets like really creepy because he's like, he's my love, my everything, my puppet.
My love, my hope. My
love, my hope, my puppet. And it's just like, oh, something bad is happening here. Like, it's not just like your brother's a dick, but like something evil is happening here, right? But yeah,
he like Kuon's like so creepy, and we'll get to just how creepy.
But also,
gets, like by the time we get to the end. But
yeah,
man.
But also I love that we get the cut like, hey, he's free to hang out with anyone he wants, and we're free to do whatever we want as well. And then we get the like cut back to Hoeru and Fire Candle, and then when we go back to it, it's like, oh, they're in the quarry now.
Yeah.
So all I can think about is like, all right, we're gonna fight. Let's not do it in the cafe. There's a quarry next door. Let's head out. But yeah, he mollywops them. We get to see the other like big flexibility of Kuon's power is that he can summon Reds, he can make Reds into weapon for himself, but he can also make the Reds into weapons for the other Reds he summons.
Yes, which is crazy. Yeah, because he summons Red Ace. What was it? Red Ace. Oh man,
was it Deki?
Geki Red. Yeah, Geki Red, and then I think it was Turbo. No, I can't remember.
No, but was it Bioman?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bio Red. Yeah. So yeah, he basically summons all these, and we get some really cool fight sequences with this too.
Yeah, I do love seeing the red suits fight. Such fun maneuvers. Unfortunately, our team just gets like mollywopped.
Yeah. And then Hoeru shows up, and then this is where the plot reconnects. So Hoeru shows up, and everyone, and like in in a callback, or I would say it's inconsistency with the first episode, with him saying, I need to pay back my debts at all times. Like, yeah, pretty much everyone says, hey, what is it? You need to pay off your tab at the cafe. It's like I lent you some manga. They're due, so it's like I need you to pay me back for them.
My smile isn't free.
Yeah, freaking Leon. And then Sumino's like saying, hey, I helped you get jobs. I require a finder's fee. I thought you pay back your debts. And then everyone basically gives the second reasoning, which is their more personal reasons. Like, it's like, we haven't partied enough yet. And like,
and basically like, we want you around. Don't leave if you don't want to.
Exactly.
Which is super sweet. And he decides to fight, even though his brother is still trying to gaslight him on the left. And we finally get, his transformation, but finally his weapon, was it the Wolf Caliber?
Yes.
I forget what it's called.
Yes, something like that.
The Gozu Wolf Caliber. They're all like the 50 caliber because of, the 50th anniversary, because it's the same thing with Eagle's bow and and Riku's shot. But and like you were saying right before we realized that we weren't recording, we get the cut through space, which is kind of insane for it, honestly.
Yes, yeah, like he basically just pulled off some insane stuff with this. Like his finisher, okay. So before I even get to the finisher, like the way it's shown off, like he basically does some slashes, but they're lingering. You're like, huh, what's going on? And then they open up, and he just starts jumping through them.
Yep, and he can jump from the slashes to slashes. So he uses that to combo the 3 reds. But also, I really do like I don't know. They're putting some interesting quote unquote wild bits into his choreography when he's fighting, because when he's fighting his brother, he obviously has a bunch of striking and stuff the same way that a lot of Sentais do, because martial arts and striking and things. But he does a lot of groundwork too, funnily enough.
Yeah. And what's crazy about this too is that really, as if to really what's it called? Diametrically oppose him, so Horu is basically afraid of losing, of getting close, because he might lose what he has, while Kuon basically has everything. He's already number 1. But this leads into what Horu says, where it's saying, me not being number 1 means I always have somewhere to I always have a way to grow. I'm always growing.
Yeah, I'm always I can always aim for something better. And I love that. It's so cool. It's so sweet. It's really funny, because I do love that again, a sick finisher where he kicks his brother into one of the vortex lashes, and he keeps basically portaling.
Yeah,
it's the best way to say it.
Yeah, he basically just forcefully portals him over and over again in a triangle, and basically just just hits him. He's just accelerating, and then just hits a brick wall. That is Horu.
That is, yeah, and he he gets to do the wolf finish, and his brother's not bad. And I do love, I saw a lot of people posting it and then being honestly, this is our guy, and it's the I'm the number 1 loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, so man. Real.
And then but they can't really celebrate that much, because King Kenlar shows up and looking for a fight, and not only do we get to see Tega Red, we actually get to see the Tega Red complete with his actual Wolf Caliber.
Yep, with the Wolf Caliber arm, we had to see I would say a pretty sick mech fight. It's always fun seeing them fight in the big mechs, and I think it's fun that the sword becomes his cockpit joystick.
Yes.
Which super sick. I enjoy it a lot. The fight was pretty fun, well choreographed. Unfortunately for Fire Candle, I loved his emotional development. He hasn't learned how to do much better, and Horu just got an upgrade. He was already losing the base. Yeah, so he does kind of get destroyed.
Yeah, he does, but in callback to the beginning of the episode, he's saying, wait, this is the fight that I wanted. Even though I'm losing, I felt your soul.
I felt your soul.
He looks so content.
Yeah, he looks so content as he ports out. It was great. And then we get probably, in my opinion, the funniest scene of the whole thing, where Horu apologizes, and everyone's oh, he's being direct, he's so sweet, and everyone's and we're having this really sweet moment, and they're well, you got debts to pay, don't you? And he's yeah. And then, like, I think he's trying to banter, and he's like, "You guys will give me a discount, right?" And I was like, wait a minute. Hold your horses, man. Pay your shit up."
Yeah, and everyone just leaves. It's great.
It's such a good bit. And
then we get back to the Brighton world, and we see part of what Kuon's deal is.
He's got this big ass X on his back that looks infected. Something is
growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something is happening to him, and he's talking about how like it's his, it's gonna be his destiny to take out his brother, but for his brother to also take out him. And I really am wondering what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah. Oh man. And then we get a preview of the next episode.
I'm gonna be real. The next episode looks kind of insane. We're getting the new black versions of the mechs.
It's a Showa battle, so it's a Kinjiro episode. So
it's a
you're
Kinjiro,
gonna be thriving.
We're getting Kinjiro and Sumino because she's like it's like the Showa Reiwa battle. I think, which I think is really funny. I am gonna be thriving with Kinjiro. He is great. But also at one point we see the dinosaur professor, and it looks like he's being fucking mind controlled or some shit.
Yeah, and then we also see all 5 Tegaswords at once.
Yep, I saw someone. I'd seen someone post about it, and I have. I again didn't know the context, but it was like, "Welcome back, individual swords, individual mechs for everyone." And I'm like, yeah, I guess if all of the Mega Tegaswords can be out, then that does work.
Also, just realized that we have how many silly little outfits for Sumino so far? Like I think I count 3 in this episode preview alone.
We're doing a lot of the outfit bits. Next episode is definitely gonna have the I would say the Don Brothers vibe. Yeah, because we are getting a lot of costumes. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm hoping Kinjiro gets a couple as well. But yeah, but with that, we still have the episode of Gab to talk about.
Welcome back, Kazumi and Banjou. Oh my god.
Yeah. We've got welcome back, Kamen Rider build. The Hanto and the Lakia focused episode. I do love that. I just love how everything is. I love how Happy Pare has kind of like become a unit that works together.
Yeah, and Shoma's barely in this episode, which is kind of funny to think about. But oh my god, Sachika, this episode.
I love Sachika.
So funny.
I love that she's just involved in everything. Again, that's no excuse. She still needs a rider suit.
But like, it's like pretty much. Lakia and Hanto are basically looking for missing people, and they get stuck together.
Yep. I love so much of like the setup for this episode. So first, just the Hanto's helping out with Happy Pare work because they're taking care of some beetles and he knows how to take care of them. But also, just I love that they're like, "Oh hey, come, let's treat you to food," and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got some work to do." And it's like, "Oh, but Lakia's on his way," and he's like, "Good, I don't want to see that fucking guy."
Yeah,
and they're just so opposed, and I do love that it's become like, I hate him because he sucks, not because he's a Granute. It's like, yeah, I hate him because he sucks, not because he's a human.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, welcome back, Kazumi and Banjou.
Honestly, overall, really, really good setup to this. I love that we get to the same place in like different ways. Hanto is still investigating like Shoma's family, and he found someone whose name matched, but it wasn't his mom. It was a man with the same name, and he went missing at this. The last thing they saw him was he went missing at a barber shop because he was gonna get a haircut because it was like his sister's wedding had just been announced. Was it the wedding or was she pregnant? Something happy had happened. He went to get a haircut. They never saw him again. So he's off to explore that, and then we meet Lakia. Apparently, a pudding store owner disappeared after getting a haircut.
Yup. And then we see that the barber number one has the same has the same like freak out, just like the hot no the bathhouse owner last episode, where he's like, oh no, it's you're Lakia, you're the one that's wanted. And like once again, like, you know, just bringing up the fact that, you know, despite him being wanted, everyone is using the wanted thing as a please get away from this guy, do not find him, do not
No,
capture him,
literally.
just get away.
And I love that this guy, I think it's so funny just seeing like their like viewpoints and their way, where it's like Hanto's trying to be sneaky and he's like, we've got this almost figured out. And then Lakia's like, all right, you're taking too long, I'm coming in. Just their shit is just good. It's comical. I love that they have to rush the dude out like mid shave. I also think it's fun, like so far when it's been that like the Granudes all have kind of jobs that relate to their thing. And so like this guy's a barber and he's, you know, a big bug with the big scythes. Hands, so you know, oh, that's like the barber thing coming in. I mean, for, you know, it was probably a coincidence, but you know, the big beetle guy stole a beetle VTuber.
Yeah.
But honestly, this episode was just a lot of really good like slapstick comedy coming from these two being stuck together. We got to see Sachika use the chainsaw.
Yeah, and once again, it's really funny how Sachika is the only person that's ever made Lakia have an expression other than indifference. Yeah.
Yeah. We also got to see the really funny bit of Lakia basically throwing everything Hanto's done like at him, like literally like, well, first, you know, you punched Shoma when you found out he was a Grandu. That's because he lied to me. But then you also, you know, didn't notice any of the shit Suga was doing, and you thought those fakes were him, even though their gabs were completely different. So all in all, I think you're a dumbass.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
Also,
just threw that all at him. And,
yeah. everyone is like obsessing over Sachika with the chainsaw, and I get it. But then like her next option was to bring out like the C4, and she was about to blow up their arms, and they stop her. Why is no one questioning where Sachika got the C4? Sachika, why do you have that?
Yeah.
Turns out the anything agency really does mean anything. Soon we're going to find out that some of her part-time jobs, Sachika's been running like paramilitary ops for people.
Yep. But yeah, and
no.
like that's like the A plot, and the small Shoma bits that we do get is like it's like even Stomach Ink gets more screen time than Shoma this episode.
Yep. Though I will say, I love Shoma Ink's basic like inclusion in this episode, which is just more G basically gloating at his siblings, like, hey, you're supposed to be out there, and Longo's trying to be like, well, that's not the most efficient way to make money, and he's like, I don't give a shit, I'm in charge now, fuck you.
Yep. And then
and you know, and we have the whole thing with Glota where, you know, he's like, don't worry, Glota, you never did anything to me, so I'm not gonna take it out on you. But Glota's worried. We're gonna see what's going on with that later. But the Shoma family drama, the Stomach family drama, has been incredible. Again, from the memes of like Longo's too busy running a company to be truly evil, and to now that like that's what bit him in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, and then we see Shoma actually, like, you know, meeting up with like, you know, what everyone's assuming is his actual like only living relative, which is his uncle potentially.
Uncle. It could be uncle. It could be anything else. You know, if it's been long enough for Shoma to be this old, this could also be like a cousin or anything. But you know that we are suspecting he is a part of his like human half of his family. He runs a sweet store. You know, he gets some caramel to try, and he loves it. And we get the caramel gochizo.
Yeah. And then we get to the creepiness of the episode, brought to you once again by Lizzo.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep. Her going into the antique shop is such a cute scene, juxtaposed with like I want this and this and that, and like, cool. And then it's like, all right, miss, how will you be paying? Paying? Oh no, I'm not doing that. It's like, okay, miss, but then Butler, let him know what I think about him telling me that I'll be paying.
Yeah.
We just get the cut and the scream as she skips off Scream. Again, honestly, just commanding presence. The Shoma bits we see are, you know, him hearing the screams after getting his candy and showing up to basically try to help this guy. And then he fights the Butler. Who, and honestly,
the Butler,
the Butler is strong. But honestly, what I was gonna say is like we've gotten a lot of these like close quarter fights in small environments in Gav, and I love them. They work them so well. I love seeing these small environments and seeing everything that they're doing. Like, oh my god, it's so fun.
Yeah. And we get to see this, small fight, and we find out that it's Lizzo's dad's agent. And once again, I really love how the monsters of the week are weak, but these agents that look so plain, that would look like a normal ass enemy in any other Kamen Rider.
Yeah, in any other series, these guys would be the mooks, but it's somehow them that are like the really strong guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's fun. We get the, hey, you're gonna come with me, Red Gav.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, why don't you join me for a bit? And then, but of course, like, before, like that's how the episode, like kind of ends, but or like actually not ends, because we see Nyev. But we actually let's talk about the major fight of this episode. The one that got clipped to all holy hell because
because rest in peace, Hanto. You were drowning for a bit there.
Yeah, no, dude. Like, and the best part too is like Lakia, like just kind of being the sentinel, just walking forward, like just dragging him everywhere. Hanto just gets just beat up this episode. just roasted.
Yep, we get the like cup transformation where he's drowning and he has to like try to like get his Gochizo to go into his little electric chair. I saw memes being like, because earlier when he was trying to talk to that other Gochizo, he's like, do you want this? And he pulls out the electric chair, and it's like, no, Hanto, it's only your weird children who like the electric chair.
Yeah. Or the funniest thing is like saying, man, I would also be crashing out if my boyfriend's children liked the other guys than me.
Real, honestly. But we get the funny double henshin in the pudding. We get the literal using Hanto as a club.
Yeah. And then it's actually pretty crazy because like the monsters' attacks are actually breaking the bonds of of the shackle essentially. But remember what I was saying about Lakia not showing any expression other than eh.
Yep.
Yeah, we get to see him have a different emotion, and this one's actually serious this time.
Yep, because he sees like the claw marks that come from this guy's attack, and he's like, oh, that looks just like the big fucking gash in the back of my brother's back. Huh. I have to kill this man.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude gets away. We're dealing with that next episode, but it's just kind of this revelation, and these two just, again, I'm hoping the next episode's like they're gonna learn to work together. But also, next episode looks kind of stacked. We have whatever the fuck is going on with Lizelle and Shoma. We have Neil finding the Stomach family traitor, as in the granduncle. So I'm like, oh no, granduncle, no. And then we have Hanto and Lakia dealing with this is Komel's killer. So honestly, we're probably gonna need a little bit longer next week to talk about that episode.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering how this week we basically spent how much time on Gozuger.
and to be fair, the next Gozuger episode looks like it's probably gonna take us just as long too. But hey, the shows have been good. They've been really fun. I'm just enjoying everything as it comes, because honestly, like, we are, like, this year, like, these two seasons together have been like really good. But with that, we will talk to you guys about that next week. Later.
This program is brought to you by
our unending love of tokusatsu.
If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like and subscribe.
And hit the bell for notifications. And if you would like to support us further, consider becoming a patron at our Patreon, Half Hour Henshin.
You can get some exclusive benefits, such as your name in the credits and joining our sticker club. Or, if you want to help with a one-time donation,
you can also find us at Ko-fi at Half Hour Henshin. You can email us with any questions or theories at halfhourhenshin@gmail.com or on Twitter at halfhourhenshin.